Hello, hello. Thank you guys so much for joining me for another episode of Keeping It Real with America's Supermom. I am excited to be here with you today. It is Tuesday, guys, and we are quickly approaching the end of the month. We are rapidly moving into February, and so many exciting things going on right now in my world. It's Clubhouse. I don't know if you are an iPhone user, if you have access to this app, but it has really taken the Apple people by storm. Consumes a lot of our time, but it is a great opportunity to network, to get information, and to be a better version of yourself. It is a good distraction with a lot of the things that have been going on in the media and just with our daily walk. We still have people who are unfortunately being affected with the virus and people losing their lives. So it's kind of good to have something new, exciting that you could spend your time with. So that is really what's been going on in my world. A lot of information, and it's been a great networking tool for me. I've been able to make a lot of contacts and really gain a lot of traffic on my Instagram. So Instagram works where it can be attached to your Clubhouse profile. So when people connect with you, the app itself doesn't actually make connections, but you connect on either Twitter or Instagram. So it has really expanded my network, and I've only been in there for about 2 weeks. So, you just have to learn how to pivot. Now, this app is not brand new, but it is new for me in the sense that, I'm just now getting on it and I'm learning how to turn the water hose down, so to speak. So when I first got on it, it's like, man, trying to drink from a water hose, there's so much coming at you. You don't want to stop. You don't know how to stop, who to get help from. So now I'm kind of getting it to a point to where I can actually manage it and being intentional with the time that I spend on there. So as a result of that, I have a 21-day challenge. I wouldn't say it's a challenge, but it's a journey for 21 days. And the concept is how to eat an elephant in 21 days. So often we look at an elephant in some aspects, an elephant represents a goal. And so we're like, oh, I love this goal. It's so big. I see it. I can feel it. I can touch it. I can taste it, but you can't accomplish it in 1 day, 2 days, and sometimes not even 21 days, right? But we are taking a journey to figure out, how do we break that elephant down? How do we come up with the concepts that allow us to be successful in our goals and aspirations? So we are taking a journey for 21 days. And it's an exciting one because the person who I'm co-moderating the room with, um, we just met like the day before we started the class. So this was day two. And you know me, guys, if I find somebody who's ready to do something, I'm all for it. So I just jump in and keep it moving. So I actually am excited to have a new networking partner. Um, like I said, we hadn't met before. We talked on the phone. We decided we were going to do it. And it was so funny. Today she spoke and she said, yeah, I was getting out of my comfort zone and I met with Lachelle. Oh, so nice to see you, sister. How you doing? Oh, love you too. So she said, I'm on the phone with Lachelle, and she said, I told her I wanted to kind of get out of my comfort zone and do a room. And she was like, yeah, this sounds good. And she said, but I didn't know it was going to be 21 days because we just decided while we were on the phone organically. But she said, this has just been a blessing. She can already see transformation in her own life after just 2 days of us having a class together. So I think that is really exciting to think about, who do we need to surround ourselves with? We need to be moving forward so that we can continue to be a better version of ourselves. So I'm excited that I was able to connect with her, and she lives in Virginia. Like I said, we didn't know each other at all. She heard me speak in another room and she just reached out to me. I immediately reached back out, and now we're doing a room together. So if you don't have an iPhone, all is not lost, because what I have done is created an event on LinkedIn. Thank you. She says she's so happy for me. Uh, and so she actually, Paley, she did an interview with me. So I challenge you to look that up because she has some great content. She talked about her journey and how she spoke on the stage with Les Brown. So I know you're like, what? How does she do that? Well, if you want to find out, go back and watch the video. But so the issue is thinking about how you can accomplish whatever it is you desire, and you want to surround yourself with the right people so that you can do that, right? You don't ever want to think that, oh, woe is me, I can't do it. It's the beginning of the year. You want to just make sure that you're intentional about the time that you spend and remembering that it doesn't happen overnight. So I'm hoping that followed the thought that I was speaking about before I posted these messages here on the screen. Because, that's another thing. You get on these platforms and you have an idea, oh, I'm going to talk about this and talk about that. And then people start engaging and you forget what you're talking about. Okay. So I try to do that really smooth. So I'm hoping it's making sense when I go back and listen to the replay. So, but if you have these goals and aspirations, now is the time to move forward and think about how you can accomplish them. Getting around the right people. When you see people doing lives and videos, reach out to them. I mean, this is the thing. People live, if they're doing the videos, to reach the audience that will serve them, right? So this is what I'm doing, is giving insight, information. I want to be able to have people on my podcast that give you value. So if you get that value, why not just take it a step further and reach out to them? I mean, that is just going to continue to propel you forward. So this is one of the things that we kind of got to get out of our mindset of, I don't know, how much is it going to cost? And I can't afford it. We make all these decisions before we even take action. And so it's a wonder why we are burdened down, stressed out, and scared to move forward. We do that to ourselves. Now, that may not be your story, but that was mine, right? I was struggling with depression. I was feeling like woe is me, and just kept putting stuff on my shoulders until I woke up and got the message after 3 hospitalizations that I'm doing this to myself, so I can change it. I have the ability to transform my situation if I decide to do something different. And so that's what I did. Now, so a lot of times we think about doing something different, but we don't know how. And so that is a very valid point. If I want to learn how to be a diver, um, in the pool, right? If I want to be the best diver, Olympic style or whatever, I need to learn the techniques. I need to get with somebody who knows that. Now, so I use that illustration because I don't dive. So that means I will be starting at ground zero in order for me to excel, build my skills, and do whatever it takes for me to be a good diver. So, with that being the case, this is the kind of mindset we need to have about things that we want to do. Now, a lot of times we think, okay, I'm an adult, I'm a mom, or whatever. I'm using mom because that's my story. I should know how to have a business. Now, if you haven't been running a business, haven't had your own business, why do we think we're automatically supposed to know that? Right? You have to begin to figure out, okay, I haven't been practicing being a business owner. I haven't had the responsibility at all. So why would I think that I could do what someone else is doing when they've been in business for 2 years, for 5 years, for 10 years, just because I see them on a Facebook Live? So I'm just using that as an example. So because that is the issue where we compare ourselves just from one aspect of them conducting their business, we think we can duplicate what they're doing without knowing all the ins and outs behind the scenes. And so I say that to say, It doesn't mean that you can achieve it, but it means you need to get some insight to figure out, okay, if they're doing this, how can I do that and bring money in? See, a lot of times we get on these platforms and we do videos and have posts and we get a lot of engagement, but it's not converting to sales, y'all. Okay. So you can have 5,000 views on your Instagram or something, but do you have a way to follow up with those likes and hearts that people put on there? Are you compiling an email list or some other way that you can connect with them so that you can monetize whatever it is that you're talking about? So the easiest way that I can explain it is, imagine me on here trying to sell this hat that I have on. Okay. So if I'm doing the video and I'm talking about the hat, how easy it is, it's kind of waterproof and all the different things that I talk about it. It's got different colors. It lights up. I think one of these things over here, there's a button that it should light up with. Yeah. See, it lights up. It does different things, right? So I'm talking about all the different features of this hat. And so everybody's like, oh, I love that hat, whatever. They're liking it, sharing it, but then I'm not making any sales. Okay. I'm talking about the hat so that I can sell it, but I am not getting anybody to or having a way to connect with the people so that I can sell it to them. Right. So this is what we need to be thinking of. And I use that just simple analogy because we're getting the exposure about the hat, but we're not making any sales. So does that make sense for me to go get more hats, more products, and get on here and do more things if I don't have a system for selling what I'm getting on here to talk about? You be the judge. I don't know. To me, it doesn't make sense. So if you're figuring out, hey, this part of my system is broken, I need some help with this. This is how we know where to start, right? And so it's just simple. Anything we're doing now, it may not be a hat, it might be a service, it might be, an experience. I don't know. You come up with whatever it is that you're on your videos and things that you're passionate about doing, whatever that is. If it's not converting, you want to ask yourself, what is it that I can do in order to make myself improve in this area or make this conversion that much easier? Okay, so happy to catch up with you too. Yes, so we have to be thinking about, it is not, we don't think it's a bad thing if you go to McDonald's and they have the board and tell you how much everything is, right? They tell you how much everything is. You go through the drive-through, you see what you want based on what they have on the menu, right? It's the same thing with our businesses, right? We get afraid to put the fee up there to talk about the money, but how are you going to keep doing business? Now, if everybody just looked at the menu board when they went through the drive-through and then just left, or they're ready to order something, but you're not at the window collecting the money. I mean, you got to think about your systems. Where is it broken? How can you fix it? How can you make it more effective? So I use these illustrations just to show you that it's business. It's nothing personal. If you're going through the drive-through and the board is for you to talk in the speaker and the speaker doesn't work, a lot of people will drive right up to the window if they have direction, right? So if you have something in your system that may not be working effectively, but you still communicate with people, hence maybe you have to put a sign on the speaker is broken, pull forward to the window, right? So this is like, okay, my website is not up yet, so contact me on Instagram. My Instagram isn't working, but contact me through Facebook Messenger. Whatever. If you are delivering the results that people are coming to you for, they really don't care about that, right? They don't care about all the different steps it takes to get to you. They care about seeking out your services so that they can make a transformation in their own lives. So we need to get out of our own way and we need to figure out how we can serve the people that are out there waiting for us so that they can be better versions of themselves and serve the people that are waiting for them. So this is how simple that we need to make it for ourselves. So there's no room for this emotion. Things happen. There's been several times I'm doing interviews and my StreamYard goes off, or I'm on a Facebook Live and it just kicks me out for whatever reason. These things happen, but you have to be so clear about what your message is that you don't let that stuff bother you, because it happens. We can't control everything, even though we think we can, right? So it's like, oh, today I'm supposed to have an interview at 3 o'clock. So it's like I've already scheduled the time in my calendar. I've already made an announcement on my YouTube channel. So what do I do? Okay, things happen. We don't know what happened with the guests. However, we know that I allotted this time and I'm just disciplined about doing that. Now, this doesn't make it hard for me to show up because this was a scheduled appointment, right? So the show goes on, right? So if I was somewhere where I didn't necessarily have to be on video, I would still be making use of that time for my business, right? So I would be, okay, if I had a phone call with somebody and they didn't show up, then I would take that time and read or do a podcast or, create an article, right? There's so many things that I could be doing, y'all. I'm telling you. I think it's fun to be able to have a podcast interview because it's like, whoo, I get a few minutes to listen to the insights of my guests. I don't have to be worrying about, what my kids are doing or what they're not doing. I can just focus in for just this little small period of time and do something that nets me some great value immediately. It's like, a great endorphin rush. So, this is some of the things that we need to be thinking about and being mindful. And so today, as I was doing my class, the thing that we talked about was overwhelm, right? How is it that you feel like you even want to get anything done when you feel overwhelmed? So many people had a lot of responses. They were like, I just don't schedule my stuff right sometimes, or let's see, great reminder for me, sis. And thank you. Oh, you are so welcome. And this is one of the yeah, I should have got you on. Yeah. So this is one of the things that we find, that overwhelm, really, we all suffer with that sometime or another, right? We suffer with the overwhelm. And I was on and I was like, look, I have 8 kids e-learning. So this definitely, there are times that I could suffer from overwhelm if I had certain mindsets. And it does get to me sometimes. Like if I wake up later than anticipated, or if I'm scheduling my self-care and I don't quite wrap it up before I pick the kids or get the kids up, then there is that period of overwhelm, because it's like that feeling of things not being complete and then going into another transitioning to another responsibility or a task without the other one being finished. And that little feeling, it does can make you a little overwhelmed. But many people were talking about that we have lists, and it's about you, they feel like that all these tasks they have to do, or they're not really clear on what it is that they have to do, or they just don't have motivation when they're feeling overwhelmed. And I thought all these things are great, but what I have found that I have done to overcome my overwhelm is to think about, what state of mind am I in? Right? What is it that I want to be? Right? So many people ask me, in different rooms that I've been in on Clubhouse, how do you do with all those kids? And, the questions just keep coming. But, someone asked me a simple thing. How do you decide, what you want to do every day? I mean, what kind of mindset do you have when you get up in the morning? And it's simple. My mindset is I want to be happy. It's just that simple. Now, am I going to have days where unhappy circumstances occur? It could be a death in the family. It could be, someone gets hurt, or, there's a discord with the conversation, or, something doesn't line up. Today I went to the store and I got double charged on my credit card. They were saying that the credit system wasn't working. So I used my card, and then they said it still didn't work. So I went right in the store to the ATM, got the cash out, got home, and they said they charged my credit card. So these things are going to happen, but I'm still happy, right? Because I choose to be happy. When you're happy, you have more motivation, right? I'm not going like, oh, I can't believe now I got to do this. I mean, it's just a different lens that you decide to look out of, right? You're just grateful for different things. There would have been a time that had that credit card went through and the money in the account, it would have been like, man, I need this money. I have to have it. Now I got this money gone and that money gone. I would be all stressed out, but it's just a good place. I'm in a better place now, right? I'm not worrying about two transactions, and I called the manager back and he was like, well, we got to wait uh 48 hours to 72 hours to see if it's reversed in our system. And if it is, then you just bring your statement and we'll reimburse you, at the time. And so there would have been a day that I would have been like, what? I need that money today. Right. So I'm just grateful because it's like, you know what? Hey, I can wait 3 days. It's not anything, it's not taken away from my business or anything else that I'm doing. Why? Because now I'm creating that type of reality for myself. I'm not going out here trying to buy this shiny object, that one. And then if something like this happens, I'm stressed out over one transaction. But I've been there, right? I've been there, and I decided that didn't make me happy. It didn't make me happy to be counting my pennies so much because, I'm afraid that two transactions are going to come through my checking account at the same time. And I'm trying to wait and try to figure out how I'm going to cover those transactions. So you may be in that place. We all have been in that place, maybe, right? But you don't have to stay there. You're going to make a decision that you're going to be happy and you're going to do things different because that's self inflicted, right? So, as much as I talk about, man, I can't believe that charge went through and they said they were going to wait 3 days. That's self inflicted, right? If I was truthful about, you know what, I don't really have the money today, or, being in a sense of buying what I can afford, living within my means, right? We just get into this whole thing of being on credit, buying stuff, feel like we got to have it today. Then you get it home, you don't even use the thing, right? Or you use it a couple times and then you hear about something else and then you buying something else. So been there, done that, right? So we have to be mindful of what is our intention. So I come from a place of being happy, and it doesn't make me happy when I have stress about bills. It doesn't make me happy if I can't control my own time, right? It doesn't make me happy if anything that I'm in control of, I am not showing up for. So if I know that I need to be with my kids during the day, it doesn't make me happy to schedule stuff within the school times when I know they have school, right? Because they will call on me for stuff. Mommy, I need help with this math problem or whatever. But if I'm sitting here trying to work and do certain things during the time that I have allowed for them, I mean, who's really at fault here, right? I can get mad at them, but that's something that I'm doing because I'm in control of my schedule. So if I really value being available to them, why am I getting upset with them because they are asking me things when I'm saying that I'm available for them, right? So we just need to think about what is it that we need to do. Now, I'm not saying you have to be available for your kids. Some of us don't have that luxury, but if that ends up being a pattern, then you can control when you get up. You can control when you have lunch, usually, even if you're working from home. So you might say, hey, you know what? I'm having sack lunches and we're going to pack them the night before so that my kids can eat or, already be ready for whatever their lunch is. But that time, we're going to set aside an hour. That's going to be my office hours for my kids. So we're going to have lunch. And if anybody has any questions, you're going to ask them during office hours. Anything after that, you understand that I'm working, I'm not available, but we can talk during office hours. Then you could have office hours right at the end of your day, before they go into their nighttime routine. Hey, we got office hours. I'm going to make dinner. And then when we sit down to eat, I got office hours for an hour. And then that's it, y'all, because I have to work. I have projects, and this is stressful for me too. But this is what I'm building on, and this is what we got to do. Right. So people don't mind as long as you communicate with them. It's no different than the speaker being broke in the drive through at McDonald's. Okay. So I hope that made sense for everybody. Oh, so my last thing about overwhelm. All right. So overwhelm really is, you just don't know what to do next. Right. So let's just imagine you come in your house and you have your living room, but it is just looks like a tornado hit it. There's clothes, there's dishes, there's all kind of stuff all over the place. Right. You're overwhelmed at the visual and you're like, man, I just don't know what to do to get this living room in order. Okay. So the first thing you would do would be write everything down, right? What needs to be done? So you can visually see what needs to be done. Instead of carrying all that overwhelm in your head, you just write it down. Okay, I see there's clothes here. I don't know if the clothes are clean or not. I see there's dishes in here. I see, toys, whatever. Yeah, I'm just using this as an illustration. So you would itemize everything that needs to be done in that particular space. So then once you begin to itemize everything, you can look at it and you could say, okay, I'm one person. Let's just assume you're by yourself and you can't clean it up, but you don't have any help. So if I'm one person, how is it that I'm going to tackle this project, right? How am I going to tackle this? What are the steps that are going to take for me to get this done? And realistically, how long would it take me if I worked from 9 in the morning to 5 at night? How many of these tasks realistically could I get done? And so you would kind of think about it, right? So this is how we should be with things that overwhelm us. Do a brain dump of everything that you have to do. You know, what is it, that you feel that is on your mind or whatever has you overwhelmed? Now, one of the things about writing those things down is determining if something is a project or a task. Okay, so this is key. This was a big game changer for me. Tasks are things that take 15 minutes or less to complete. So for me, I'll just give you an example. I'm thinking, okay, I need to do laundry today, and I need to meal prep, and I need to call 5 clients, right? So let's just say that I'm talking about calling 5 clients. Now, so for some people, they could say, oh, okay, that's easy. You can just call 5 clients, knock that out, and get that over with. Well, that sounds easy, but that might not be a task. It might be a project. When you're just like, why is it a project? Because I might have to go through my emails and figure out what their phone number is. I might have to go look on this paper that I wrote it down somewhere, got to find which paper I wrote it on and all this. So all those take time because I may not have a system for calling people or where I put my clients' phone numbers, right? But if I have all my clients' numbers and emails in Google, in my contacts or email, then that would be easy. I could just go right to that and it may take me 15 minutes. But if something like that is something you feel like, oh, I need to follow up with people, but then you're wondering, well, why am I so stressed out about following up with them? Well, it's because you don't have a system and you've got this number over here in that notebook, and you got to go through your Facebook Messenger because you never wrote their phone number down. And then you have to go over on LinkedIn because you think they did that. You don't know if it was email. You see what I'm saying? Right. So this is why things don't get done and you're overwhelmed because you don't know where to find the information. So that's one illustration. So now we go to the meal prep, right? So the meal prep is, okay, how much time am I going to allocate to the meals and when is that going to take place? So usually I get up in the morning, before my kids, and I make breakfast. So I make breakfast before I wake them up. Okay. So that's allocating and knowing that time. So usually it's more than 15 minutes, but it takes me 15 minutes to prep the breakfast. Usually it cooks on its own, but I have pretty much gauged what that is. So each time it's going to take me longer if I don't have anything together. So, for example, today, anytime my husband's here, it's like I'm checking out on vacation because he's here, right? So, it got to be lunchtime and the kids I didn't have anything prepped for lunch. Now we have pizzas, corn dogs, stuff that we can make quickly, but I didn't have in my mind what it was I was going to cook. By the time it was lunchtime by the time I'm trying to figure out what we're eating. So we grabbed a pizza, put the pizza on, but the point is, how much mental space did that take, away from me being productive? Because it's like, man, shoot, I should have got that pizza out, or why did I drop the ball with them and what they were going to eat for lunch? All that takes mental space and it takes away from your ability to focus, right? So when you're meal prepping, you can break that down 15 minutes or less. First thing is like, okay, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner today, what are we going to have? So you're going to write that out. That might take 15 minutes. Now, then you go back and you figure out, okay, how am I going to prep for each of those meals? Right. So that is really a project more so than a task, because as you break it down, what are you cooking? Do you have all the ingredients? What time are you going to start prepping them? All these different things are pieces of that project that needs to be done throughout the day. And then the last thing is laundry, right? So for some people, laundry might look like grabbing your basket and going to the wash machine, putting in the dryer, and being done. That's not my reality. I have 10 people here that are needing their clothes done, right? So that looks like clothes in this room, in that room, getting it all compiled, right? And then, that's like 3 loads, right? So you got to sort them out, put them in there, right? Wash them, dry, then folding them up and putting them away. I mean, that's a day's activity, right? But so long I was, beating myself up because it was like, I just have laundry on my list. Why can't I get it done? But now that you go back and you think 15 minutes or less for a task, that's an all day project, right? So I hope that gave you guys some value in thinking about how we can prioritize things. We can break them down into realistic goals and aspirations in order to minimize overwhelm. And I look forward to coming back and seeing you guys tonight. I have 2 guests, one at 7 and one at 8. They are both authors. And so I'm looking forward to meeting them for the first time and seeing what value they can share with us this evening. If you have any questions, anything about that overwhelm, you want any slides or something that you could share with your audience, or create a template or something, because people really resonate with being overwhelmed. I mean, we all see this from what happened last year in 2020. We all were overwhelmed, and many of us still are. So think about ways that when you learn something, how you can transfer that information to other people, and we all can continue to grow and evolve to better people. So thank you so much, Paley, for joining me today. I appreciate your insight, your engagement, and I look forward to seeing you guys later on at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In the meantime, have a great day. Talk to you then. Bye.